Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama want your guns. So protect your guns with the SafeandVaultStore.com. Click the link below right now. Memorial Day sale. No tax, plus 10% off, plus free shipping on select handgun and rifle safes with coupon code MEMORIAL. Again, that's 10% off with coupon code MEMORIAL. Give them a call right now at 1-800-207-2259. That's 1-800-207-2259. That's the SafeandVaultStore.com. Offer expires June 6, 2016.
It's true we mentioned a lot of crises, but we didn't talk about the U.S. elections. How worried are you by the popularity of Donald Trump?
Well, Donald Trump is doing the work of ISIS. ISIS and before that Al-Qaeda discovered the Achilles heel of Western civilization, the fear of death, and when it interferes with reason, and people do things out of fear, which is actually harmful, and that's what by fear mongering, Donald Trump and the others, Cruz and so on, are doing the work of ISIS. And I actually listened to the debates, and it's a very simple message. I found it difficult to resist it. It's because it's so elemental. The only thing that stopped me is the knowledge that it must be wrong to do what your enemies want you to do.
Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green, and you're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It's Friday, May 27th, 2016. Today's video, you'll learn how and why the elites decide not to elect Donald Trump. Let me start off by saying that I know this video and opinion isn't popular, and I'm a supporter of Donald Trump. But it's funny to me how the people actually think, I'm seeing all these prognostication videos now, how Donald Trump's going to win. And believe me, I hope I'm wrong. It's the one thing I hope I'm wrong about. Because they actually think, based on their analysis and thesis, that the people of the United States decide and vote for the actual president.
Well, and that's a misunderstanding. That rule actually is different than that. That's a vote that needs to be taken at the convention of the delegates. The requirement is that the candidate must demonstrate the support of the majority of the delegates from 8 states that are permanently seated. So that vote can't even be taken until the convention. So obviously, no determination can be made until the convention.
So that vote that we thought, or that rule that we thought stood, is not a rule that actually stands?
No, it is a rule that stands, but the rule says specifically that it's a vote of the delegates at the convention to determine if there's a majority.
Voters.
Not a primary vote. Primary votes are not considered. It's the delegates' votes. The delegates cannot vote until they're permanently seated, and that's the first action of the convention.
They actually think it's the people's choice. You see, the people don't decide anything. If you've been watching this channel for over 7 years now, since 2009, thousands and thousands of videos in circulation, you'll know by now that it's the elites that decide. The people don't vote. They vote, but it's really just an illusion. It's fiction. The delegates decide, the superdelegates decide, and the global elite, people like George Soros, the great disruptor, decide, not you. And again, that's the problem. And that's why the analysis that Donald Trump's going to win by a landslide is flawed. I actually think that the elites, the New World Order paradigm, are using Donald Trump as a great catharsis, because it's exactly what America needs to ride this wave and political vacuum of this populist anger. And don't get me wrong, the American people have every right to be angry. They should be angry. But it's being used as a catharsis for a reason. I actually think, as I've humbly stated, and this is coming from a guy who predicted that Donald Trump, and this is when it was laughed at, that he would actually win and cement the GOP nomination, which he did yesterday, mathematically. Congratulations, Donald Trump. Again, I'm a supporter. I think you're exactly what America needs. But he's being used as a catharsis where I think at the last minute, he will lose by a gnat's ass to Hillary Rodham Clinton, to give the impression and idea that the American people actually had choice, even though it's an illusion, even though the right-left paradigm is a total farce. And isn't that the actual problem? Donald Trump has said himself that the election is rigged. So why would he think that in God's green earth he could win when these powerful people and forces are working against him? Again, the whole thing illusory. Just like the money system, this criminal central bank, Federal Reserve, that prints money out of thin air, not backed by gold, not backed by a commodity, just printing it into infinity, lowering interest rates to ZERP, to NERP, from zero to negative. We're seeing this across the pond in places like Europe, for example, and Japan with their lost decade. People like George Soros's business partner, who co-founded the Quantum Fund, a billionaire, Jim Rogers, warning on Russian state television earlier this month that it's going to be really, really bad. I mean, really bad when these wheels fall off, because all the numbers are massaged. All the numbers are bullshit. All the numbers are fake. He cites a very specific example. He says, remember in Russia, right before their collapse, when they were releasing all these phony, bogus, bullshit numbers that looked really good on paper at face value? It's going to be bad. In fact, before I forget, I put out a book with our partner Swiss America. In fact, I'll be doing a series of videos on this, The Great Withdrawal. We're giving it away for free as a $20 value, so it's not going to last long. Put your name, click the link below, register for your free book, put your name, your phone number, your email address, and get a copy. Again, it's free. They're not going to last long because we're giving it away for free. In fact, you can actually buy it on Amazon for about 20 bucks per book. But I think it's so important and so relevant, and as Jim Rogers says, it's going to get really, really bad. I want to educate you guys to what's coming so you can take action. So go ahead and click that link below. So things are going to be completely and totally orchestrated by this system that is working to integrate a global integration. This is what we're seeing now. This is what George Soros and these people are pushing. And I'm sure even Jim Rogers has ulterior motives himself, are pushing this global integration in the midst of the largest, greatest calamity and collapse in the history of the world. Now, I think this is all ushered in, no matter who becomes the next president of the United States. And who knows? Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they want Donald Trump to preside over this giant collapse. So then that provides them with ammunition to really cement this New World Order agenda. Again, I hope I'm wrong about Donald Trump's fate. But the issue here is the system. The issue is the farce of two-party politics. You know, both of the outsider candidates, whether or not it's Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders, are riding the wave of this populist anger. And the people are buying into it hook, line, and sinker, which is a good thing. I think these people even have good intentions. It's one of the reasons why I support Donald Trump. I think he's got good intentions, even though I've openly criticized him because I'm not a lapdog, and I do think for myself, and I'm going to ask critical questions. But I think what the pundits in a lot of these videos and analysis I've been watching lately isn't taking into account. Even Rush Limbaugh thinks that Donald Trump's going to win by a landslide. Pretty much everybody does, that Donald Trump's going to win. What they're not taking into account is that the people don't have a decision in the matter. You see, if it was actually up to the people, I would agree with you. Donald Trump would win. But if it's up to the global elites, this New World Order power structure, the men and women behind the smoking room, mostly men, then he won't win. It's all carefully orchestrated and crafted. You know, I think that Donald Trump had a worst case and a best case scenario laid out before he decided to run for president, realizing that it was a massive publicity stunt, and worst case would be good publicity. I think what's panned out is the best case scenario, which maybe has even surprised Donald Trump and his family and his political operatives and associates themselves. Now he's riding the wave and he's going full bore. And he's also dangling a giant option on the White House in front of the New World Order global elite. And as we've seen with some of his real estate business dealings, is he going to take the cash and run? I actually don't think he does. Again, I actually think his heart's in the right place. One of the reasons why I support him. I actually think Donald Trump is angry himself and wants to restore the country. But does he really have a decision in the matter? Do you really have a choice? And I think that's the fundamental question that we've got to ask here. I don't think so. You know, call me a crass cynic. Call me a Debbie Downer, but I have seen nothing to prove especially over the last few years and arguably the last few decades, to prove otherwise. You know, it's the reason why we have an electoral college. It's why the elites structured it that way, because you don't have a choice. We saw the same thing with the Bush and Gore election, where Gore lost, you know, even though he technically won the popular vote. Again, the American people don't decide. What Donald Trump has in his favor is Hillary Clinton is literally lighting herself on fire right now. I mean, she's greatly, and her political operatives, I think, are greatly mismanaging her campaign. Donald Trump is absolutely dominating her for a reason, because Donald Trump knows how to brand himself. He knows everything about marketing, how to craft an image, how to attack each of his competitors, whether or not it was Lion Ted Cruz branding him like that, or now branding Crooked Hillary. Notice how he's putting out these linguistics out to the American public because they're very effective. I mean, Trump took out one by one, whether or not it was Bush or Cruz, you know, coming up with all of these names and linguistics for these people, and has successfully executed each and every one of them, and now has his primary focus on Hillary Clinton at a time where it almost looks like we'll have a more likely contested convention on the Democratic side with Bernie Sanders than what we thought, or the media assumed, which everyone was talking about, would be on the Republican side. Now everybody assumes that Donald Trump's going to win. You know, I also think that there is a wild card. There is a great unknown, another catalyst that we don't know about at this point, whether or not it's an engineered terror attack or it's some kind of economic event. It could be a number of things I'm not even thinking of. But I think that there is a wild card that is also going to happen and be another catalyst leading up into this general election, which could turn the tables absolutely dramatically in favor of Hillary Rodham Clinton. You know, that's the possibility that people don't see because they're not taking into account that there's unknown possibilities. Again, all of this can change on a dime overnight, depending on the economy, depending on war, depending on acts of terrorism, engineered or not. You know, kind of like what we saw with September 11, 2001. What I do know is this is a very dangerous time for the New World Order global elite. And they're the ones in power. They're the ones in control. I mean, again, let me ask the question. How many of these financial elite scumbags have been prosecuted and gone to jail since the largest, greatest transfer of wealth, engineered financial collapse in the history of man, post-2008 and 2009? It's a big fat zero. How many of these politicians have been held accountable? It's a big fat zero. Yet for some reason, the people are engaged in this dog and pony show thinking that they actually have a vote. Engaged in this two-party Republican versus Democratic system where they're going to war on the ground with this populist anger and fighting each other while the real elites are running away with all the cash. I mean, that's what's really happening right now. All the wealth has already been transferred. The engineered collapse has already taken place. Now they're just engineering America's catharsis and giving you the impression that Donald Trump is the savior. Even though I think he's the right guy for president, they're giving you the illusion of choice when you really have no choice. You have none. And the global elite in this country and abroad want, in my humble opinion, a tertiary term of Barack Obama. And that person, that tertiary term, is Hillary Rodham Clinton. Again, I hope I'm wrong about this. I'll be the first to admit it. It would be a good thing. I hope, honest to God, that I'm wrong. I think Donald Trump is the right person for president of the United States. I think he's the right person to take on the global elites themselves. But don't be so sure that it's your choice that matters, that it's your pick, Republican or Democrat, or your vote. I think we should be focused on the real problem, this broken political system, big money in politics, the criminal federal private reserve, which should be abolished immediately, printing money out of thin air, creating destruction all over the world. These proxy wars in the Middle East costing thousands of American lives and millions of innocent civilians in parts of the Middle East. A global world war, a great withdrawal. You can get the book. I'm just mentioning this now because it's coming to the top of my head. You can get it free, limited time. We have a limited copy, so register below. It's a great educational piece I put together with Swiss America. Craig Smith, also Pat Boone as a forward, I think is really good. Register now because I want to educate you guys. All of this is coming to the forefront. Only time will tell, and again, I hope I'm wrong. But as the thinker of the group, somebody who's not a lapdog and that will criticize even the people I support, the global elite, again, I'll reemphasize, have decided not to elect Donald J. Trump. going to be somebody else. I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere, make it viral, hard-hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.